Hello and welcome back to JimMurphyMP.com, a way of keeping in touch with local, national news and politics. And Happy New Year to everyone belatedly in 2012. 2011 was such a difficult year for so many folk, with rising unemployment and all the other worries that many people have experienced, the rising cost of living and depressed incomes. Let's hope that this year is not only happy, but for as many people as possible is prosperous, and that folk who lost their job last year get the chance to bounce back into work and earn an income. Now, in the midst of all the difficulties, I think it is important for the government to, in this year, take a fresh look at what they got wrong last year, to look again at their economic policy, to look again and see whether they're getting it right. And my sense is that the government policy isn't working, and that as a consequence too many people are out of work. And the one thing that's worse than a government minister making a mistake is continuing with that same mistake even when it's proven by the evidence not to be working. So let's have a fresh think from the Tory and Liberal government. It's also important for the Labour Party to continue to demonstrate as to how we would cut the deficit and do it in a fair way. It's of course the case that they would have had to have been cut under a Labour government, in the same way that families have tightened their belts, governments have to tighten their belts. That's why in the past couple of days I've said what I have and about defence cuts that Labour would support and would have made. And I think that's important that we do that, so that we continue to be credible in the way that we want to be seen about the economy. More widely than that, I think it's important that also as we reflect on a new year, and a year of resolutions and fresh hopes, to also keep in mind those of our armed forces, 10,000 of them serving in Afghanistan still at the moment, who didn't get the chance to be at home at Christmas and haven't had the chance to see their families face to face, to wish them a happy new year, and they will continually be in our thoughts. Now here in the gathering doom in Glasgow, it's been a stormy start to the year. You can see the lights going on and off and the gathering clouds again. We've had two storms, both of which have caused a lot of damage in the local area, and insurance companies of course been very busy. So let's hope that's not a pattern for the rest of this winter. So far we've escaped the coastal freeze of last winter. The last thing I'd really say is that on the 2012 is that it really has to be a year where Scotland has a proper conversation about its constitutional future. Yes, many people are hurting, but the country in many ways has been put on pause because businesses and everyone else doesn't know whether Scotland is going to have a referendum, when that referendum will be, what the question will be. And I think it's time to end the uncertainty. And rather than politicians debating dates in the way that they have been doing, let's debate the issues. Let's discuss the cut and thrust of it. And why people like myself and the majority of people in Scotland, trade unions, businesses and families, think that Scotland is stronger because we're part of the United Kingdom. But let the SNP make their argument that Scotland would be stronger by breaking away and going their own way. So let's, rather than debating the date and which year, which is of course important, and let's get it done sooner rather than later, let's now start also talking about the big issues at stake, because the public don't just want to hear politicians squabble about which date in the diary they want to have a referendum, but they also want to hear politicians with big ideas, a sense of passion, a real belief, a sense of patriotism, doing what they think and saying what they believe was best for Scotland. So let that debate begin. Let's get on with the referendum. Let's not delay it for years and years and to suit the SNP government's agenda. Let's just get on with it. That's all for just now. In future vlogs I'll be talking about the Olympics and much else besides in the year to come. Again, if you've got ideas, you want to get in touch, do it in the usual way by Twitter, Facebook, email, or as I always say, pop down to the post office, buy a stamp, stick a letter in the envelope, post it in the House of Commons. All the best just now. Cheers, bye bye.